Here we go.
You've
Okay.
got a friend. Everybody's got a friend, and we've all got friends here in wonderful Zoom boxes. Welcome, 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 everybody. We're going to do some welcomes. Are my partners here in music, Cathy Baker and Dick Jackson. Take it away.
Thank you for the intro, Dennis. We're here on the waterfront in Victoria. Good morning, Alinahh, Dennis, and Joe. Kim, it's great to see you. Siobhan, we love you. Katie rocks the tech. It's so great to have your help. And Deli and Aloysius, I love the inside of your car. We get to see it frequently here. Hello, Jen and Dan and Deborah and Jenny and Victoria. And Annie and Victoria too. Hello, Christiana and Sandy Johnson, way up northern Canada's Yukon. And Al playing along with his guitar. And Sheila and Susan G. Elizabeth Bell. And big hugs to you, friend. Oh, Joy, you bring such joy, joy. And Michelle and Steve, Fran and Dale. Hello, Annette, Biron, and Ida. Hello, Ida, and your siblings. I gotta go to the next screen. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Sid Varley and Trish, Sue and Sarah and Bob Delaney. Hello, Kathleen Way in Albuquerque. Katie's good to see you. Arana in New Mexico and Bonnie Schuster. We love singing with you Wednesday nights too. Hello, Susan Miller in Seattle. Oh, Anne and Cathy in Virginia. Jamie in Victoria. Gary Pausner and Storm. Oh, Storm, what a great name, Storm. Good to see you here. Oh, Arlene Baxter, Bianca Lee, and Janet in Atlanta. Susan in North Carolina. Carolyn Wolf and Phoebe. Doug Varney Underhill. Oh, Luda in Victoria. Sandy E. Hello, Brian and somebody jumped. Where am I? Hello, Jim in New York City. On to screen 3 here. Nancy's beautiful Irish cow. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Mabel and Bob and the dancing cinnamon bears. Oh, Becky Kane. Good to see you here. Oh, Carolyn Quant and Jean in Pittsburgh. Or Jean in Pittsburgh. That would be Fred and Tom in Victoria. Janet and Pete in Toronto. And Russ and Dion and Sandra. I see Martha Wagner in Oregon, and Wright, and Kevin, and Thomasina, oh, and Kate in Charlottesville, and Christy, and Tab, and Christiana, and several other people here on other devices. Gwen, and Suzanne, and Barbara, and Anne, and I jumped a screen, I gotta get reoriented here. We've got Laura, Christine, Cricket, and a bunch of incomprehensible numbers, but Kirsten, Ruth, and Harriet, Katrina, and the last one I see is Ray. Welcome to the Daily Antidote of Song.
All right, Cathy and Dick. Shout out to Cathy and Dick for the wonderful hellos, everybody. Cathy and Dick and I and Siobhan Robinsong, who is in the room this morning, we run we're kind of the focal point of the Ubuntu Choirs Network. The Ubuntu Bantu word from sub-Saharan Africa, meaning we are all individuals only within the context of the community that we are in. I am because you are. And what better way to celebrate being together as human beings as in this world than that? So Cathy and Dick, tell us why you're out in a coffee shop here. What's going on?
Well, it's like this, Dennis. Cathy has a full-time job as a bus driver with BC Transit.
That's right. You can even see I've got the blue uniform and the BC Transit logo here. So I just got to drive a double-decker bus on a full lap of the Route 15 from Her Majesty's Canadian Dockyard in Esquimalt to the University of Victoria and back. And fortunately, the transit depot is just a brisk 10-minute walk away. And I pulled in at 8:40, parked the bus, made sure everything was fine, and then hoofed it down here. So, whoo!
And I did the sound check, got us set up, so we got to keep the rock rolling here, folks.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry, we'll mute ourselves because of the traffic.
Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to do a little bit of a vocal warm-up. Let's get our vocals happening here. So I want you to all just sit on the edge of your seat, just like this, nice spine straight. And let's get ourselves oriented here. So often we're like this, we're all slumped over, like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. So I want you to imagine that your head is empty and like a balloon, it's full of helium, and it's just lifting your head up like that, so that it's nicely, you've got a nice, the back of your spine is all straight. It's going all the way down into the ground. Make sure your feet are flat on the ground and just allow your head. The only thing that's preventing your head from detaching and then bopping around in the ceiling is that it's held on by the neck here and the spine. So just feel that a little bit and just roll your head around. And then we can just make sure that we're nicely loose in the face. So just give your face a little massage like this. It's okay to look stupid. It's okay to look stupid. I know it's not culturally acceptable in board meetings, but in this particular situation, it's absolutely fine. Matter of fact, it's recommended. So just do whatever you need to do to your face to make sure that it's nice. Okay, all right. And now we're going to just do this. Oh, your nice low note, and maybe even a bit lower. Oh. And now we're just going to slide up and down. Oh. And let's do another one. Oh. Okay, repeat after me. A booga booga booga. A bum bum bum. Boogity boogity boogity. Wah wah wah. Wah wah na wah na ma. Antidote of song. Antidote of song. Antidote of song. Antidote of song. Antidote of song and Ubuntu week. Antidote of song and Ubuntu week. Okay, that kind of gets us a little bit warmed up. It's nice to do that and just have the vocal cords ready to go in a singing modality. So we got a couple of song leaders this morning. I'm really excited about presenting them to you. Neither they have been on the Antidote of Song before, but they are both they've both gone through our choir training program, and they're out in the world doing the work and getting people singing, which is what it's all about. So first of all, I'm happy to introduce Alinahh all the way from...
Wait. Have we forgotten the abdominal warm-up?
Oh my goodness, I've forgotten the most important part of the entire show. Thank you, Dick. We've got to get the diaphragm going here. We've got to get breathing properly. So Alinahh, hang tough. We'll be right with you. Dick, do you have an abdominal warm-up for us? An abominable warm-up?
I've just been thinking that the most of all the inventions over the last 100 years, the dry erase board has to be the most remarkable. Well, it's better than paper. Paper is terrible. And thanks to the good people at the Soul Food Cafe Deli here. We'll just do a little spin here. We're on the waterfront that includes the scrap metal heap over there that gets barged away every once in a while near downtown Victoria. Thanks, folks.
Dick and his legendary abominable warm-ups. Okay, Alinahh, we're now ready for you. Do you want to say something about the song, or do you want to just launch into it, Alinahh? What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'll say a couple things about it. So I was thinking about it being spring, and we just had, I was raised and I still practice the Jewish, I would call it more culture than religion in the case of me. And we have a beautiful holiday called Passover or Pesach in the springtime, and it celebrates rebirth and the spring and liberation. And there's a song in the middle of the ritual, which is called the Seder. We eat different ritual foods and tell the story of how the Jews, the Israelites, were liberated from Egypt. And there's this song is called Dayenu, which means it would have been enough. It would have been sufficient. And it's a song of praise, like it would have been enough if God had just gotten us out of Egypt. It would have been enough if the sun came up every day. So I wrote a new melody and new lyrics to this song. And it's real easy, and I'll sing the chorus. I'm just going to check on the note so that I sing it right. Ooh, oh, if trees die. All right. So it goes. Dayenu. Try that. Dayenu. And the second part goes. Dayenu. Let's try it all together. Dayenu. Oh, Dayenu. And it's the same melody for the verses too. Let's just do the chorus one more time, and then I'll put the recording on and we can sing it all together. Dayenu. Oh, Dayenu. And I'll put the recording on. The verses, the lyrics that I wrote are all about the miracle of springtime in Appalachia, where I live, and all of the plants that come up, especially a lot of wild edibles, which I like to call original garden food. I'm an avid forager, so you'll see some of that, like violets that are edible, chickweed, cress, and wild chives that are edible, and redbuds. It's redbuds, not rosebuds. That was a mistake on that. Okay, here we go. Dayenu. Oh, Dayenu. Oh, if trees unfurled their soft green leaves and pink and yellow blossoms. Dayenu. Oh, if squirrels buried acorns that made more sacred oak trees. Dayenu. Oh, Dayenu. Oh, Dayenu. Oh, if ladyslippers graced us with their fragrant petal lips, Dayenu. Oh, if red buds offered up to share their tasty pink blossoms, Dayenu. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu. Feel free to harmonize. Oh, if violets pushed up from the earth in yellow, white, and purple, Dayenu. Oh, if chickweed, cress, and wild chives fed a spring green salad, Dayenu. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu. Oh, if dandelions gifted us their yellow sunshine goodness, Dayenu. Oh, if starlings returned from the south and woke us to their dawn song, Dayenu. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu. One more time. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu. Oh, die da 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 Dayenu.
All right, Alinahh. I loved watching all the little Zoom squares with all the people just dancing as if we were in a circle around a fire or something like that. Just doing one of those dances where you're all moving to the left and moving to the right. That's lovely. Alinahh, tell us again what Dayenu, what that word is about.
Yeah, it means it would have been enough.
It would have been enough,
Would have
right?
been enough.
It would have been enough for all that to happen. That's
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
That's lovely. And your song, your lyrics and your melody,
Yes. Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's been one of the upsides of the pandemic for me is that, and also I've had an injury in my arm, so I haven't been able to play instruments or drum or do weaving, which is one of my other passions, or be a social, obviously. So I've finally gotten around to something I've wanted to do my whole life, which is songwriting. And so the last year I've probably written a few dozen songs and probably about 8 or 10 that I'm really happy with. So that's been really great.
Lovely, lovely. Well, you've been getting people singing a long time, Alinahh. Tell us some of that that you've done in the past, and I know you've just so much presentation and facilitation in your past. Tell people about that a little bit.
I've been singing my whole life, and I'm very passionate about communal singing. I think it's such an amazing way to bring people together and to come into our hearts and our bodies and feel grounded on the earth. And so I've been singing my whole life, and then when I moved to Appalachia, I started a song gathering, which was called Singing Alive Appalachia, and now it's called Earth Song Rising. And we had about 200 people who come out for 3 to 5 days in the summertime. We sing around fire circles, like you imagined, Denis. And it's all outdoors, and it's very earth-based, and people, we have different themes and song leaders who come from all over, and it's just been incredible. And then I've been doing monthly song circles for the community for years now, and we've started to do them in person again outside, and that's been really wonderful. And I also live in an eco-village called Earth Haven outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and the community has asked me to start a chorus. And so thanks to the training I got from Denis and Siobhan and Cathy and Dick, I feel still nervous because my background has been always in song circles and also leading ceremonies, but not in more formal chorus with parts. But it's what they want, and so we're starting up. We're going to be called Meadowlark Community Chorus, and we've already got about 18 people. So, and it's going to be outdoors in our what we call our forest garden, where also the village school is located. So.
Beautiful. Is there something in? I haven't been checking the link, but is something in the chat if people are interested more about that?
Yeah, it is going to be. It's not going to be an online thing. It is going to be an in-person thing. But if you have friends in the Asheville area, I think probably you can put up. I think they're going to put up my email or Facebook. Thanks, Katie. That's awesome. So that's a great way to get in touch with me, and I'd love to have you. It's wonderful to be starting to sing together again.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And even people who want to come and wear masks, that's completely fine. In fact, I recommend the singer's mask if you all aren't familiar with that. After I'm done talking, I'll put a link to that for those of you interested.
Great. Thanks, Alinahh. All right. Anything else coming up that would you want to talk about, Alinahh, or is that pretty much?
The only other thing is I'm excited about. I'm going to be in an Earth Day show in 2 weekends, and some of my other passions are stilt walking and giant puppets and theater and being a part of musicals. And one of my songs that I wrote recently is going to be part of it. It's called. What is it called? Ancient Forest, I think, and it's at an outdoor theater in Montford. So if anyone's in the area, you can look up. I'll put a link to that too. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Alinahh, all I can say is the pandemic doesn't seem to have slowed you down like one iota. You're just moving and shaking it over there in Asheville. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Let's give a big shout out to Alinahh, everybody. Thank you.
So, great to be here. Thank you to JoJo and everyone who's made this wonderful opportunity to sing together this last year.
Amen. Amen. And now we have another song leader, our friend, member of the Ubuntu Choirs Network, Kim Bothen in Vancouver, BC. Kim, welcome.
Thank you, Dennis. Hi, everyone. Good morning. So lovely to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you, Kim. So is it sunny over there? It's sunny over here in Victoria.
It's brilliantly sunny here. Yes, absolutely. And it's been getting quite warm. So we're, beginning to plant stuff.
You've got a group going out there. Are you singing outside?
No, it's a bit chilly for that yet. And I'm just about to start my first Zoom series, actually. I put it off thinking, soon we'll be able to get together again. Well, so finally I've caved, and I'm just about to start a 5-part series that hopefully will take us into the summertime when we can sing outside together again. I had a small group singing outside last summer, so
we'll talk about that after your song.
Okay.
Why don't you give us your song, Kim, or talk about it, or just want to launch into it, whichever you want to.
I'll do a really brief intro, and then we can talk a bit more about it later. But this one is a real favorite around the roots and trad set and the music festival set all over British Columbia, and I've discovered further afield. So called Providence, Ferry. Do we have lyrics up? Oh, there we go. I'll sing the chorus. I'll get you all singing the chorus quite nicely, and just know the melody in the verses is very similar to the chorus, so you will be able to follow along on the verses, but I'll get you up and running on the chorus first. So, oops, I went into the verse first because that's where I usually start. Oh, yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry, gonna carry me home. I'm gonna let it, ooh. So that's now a little hint on this one too. You might notice the song is made up of lots of quite long phrases. So you're going to want to practice your good deep breathing, and also you're sipping. Take little sips of air at every opportunity, I promise you. So no sucked in tummies on this one. You need to, Jen, I think you're unmuted, honey. So let's do a call and response on that. So 1, 2, 3, and oh yes, and I'll be ready. Oh yes, and I'll be ready. When they call my number, I'm gonna get a. When they call my number, I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. One-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Ooh. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Ooh. Let's just sing that through together a couple of times, and then I'll just launch right into the verses. 1, 2, 3, and oh yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Ooh, one more time. Oh yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Ooh, how's your breathing doing? I swing a hammer, but you know I'd rather hang my slicker where the boatmen gather. I have heard angels singing sweet hallelujah high on the rigging. Oh yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Ooh. Set one drive, sorry, excuse me. Set one drive, it's an ancient rhythm. Gonna listen to the music and the tune you're giving. Joe was a carpenter, that's for certain. Gonna sing that tune till they bring down the curtain. Oh yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Ooh. Now rock my soul out on the water, deep in the bosom of the ocean's daughter. Rope and canvas, oak and pine, gonna carry me over to the other side. Oh yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Oh yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Bump it up a notch. Oh yes, and I'll be ready when they call my number. I'm gonna get a one-way ticket on the Providence Ferry. Gonna carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Carry me home, I'm gonna let it. Carry me home. Big finish now. I'm gonna let it. Ooh.
Ooh. All right, a gospel ending from Kim Bothen, everybody. Put your hands up.
Thank you.
All right. Boy, Kim, I can't wait till we're back in the room together somewhere, sometime, and I get to sing harmonies on that song with you.
Yeah, there's
And maybe some of the others of our network can be there too. That's a great song for harmonies.
Isn't that a great song? Yep. And my husband actually is a true bass, and he sings this great bass line on there.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Isn't it a great song? Yeah. Yeah.
You know, tell us about who wrote it and where that comes from, Kim.
Yeah, so the songwriter is a fellow named Joe Sharon, spelled with a C, Charron, and he's a kind of a known entity around these parts. I believe he lives in Alberta now. We've actually never met personally. We have lots of mutual friends, and I have to say I need to credit a Saskatchewan singer-songwriter named Tammy Fassart for that interpretation of the song, and also that's how I first ever heard the song. And I happen to know that Joe loves her interpretation of the song. And certainly for me, it's always been perfect. So I'm heavily influenced by Tammy Fassart for sure in that. And Joe, so what he says about that song is that driving into the folk festival, Islands Folk Festival on Vancouver Island here, is on the grounds of a place called Providence Farm. And just going through the gates, this song came to him. I mean, I think we can all relate to the notion of, you know, moving into a music festival is kind of visiting sacred ground, I think, for many of us. So that's where the inspiration for the song came from. Anyway, he's quite proud, and Joe had given his blessings for it to be sung here, and he it's been recorded by another person, apparently a Blackfoot fellow from Montana named Jack Gladstone. And I think that recording actually won a couple of awards. And apparently, the album's called Native Anthropology. Apparently, the governor of Montana considers Jack to be the troubadour of Montana. So that's a song that he loves also.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, folk festivals. Yeah, may they come back,
Oh
and
my gosh, right?
not too far in the future.
Right.
I performed at the very first Islands Folk Festival about 30 years
Oh,
ago, and I've been there a number of times since
oh,
then.
I
Yeah,
was
it's a
there.
wonderful
I was
festival.
there. I was there at that first one.
Were you?
Yeah,
Maybe we did sing together back then.
maybe we did.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Kim, do you want to talk about anything you've got coming up? And if anybody's in the Vancouver area, they could maybe sing with you outside. Have you got that kind of thing going
Oh,
on?
sure. Well, for the summer, I'm hoping that we get back up and going outside again. I did have a small choir started up. We are called Sky Song. I don't have a website yet or anything of that nature, but I believe my email address will at least be in the chat, and I'm happy to. I'll always respond to any emails with questions about that. Aaron, do you have? I think I put it right at the very beginning. Anyway, it'll go there. I am starting a series of 5 online sessions, also 5 Zoom sessions on April 19th. And I'm definitely, if anyone were to email me, I'm just figuring out what platforms to put out promotions. So the best at the moment still is to email me about that. And of course, by Zoom, we don't have to worry so much about geography. So,
No, we don't. Thank
yeah,
you, Kim. That's great. Yeah, so that link will be in the chat and people can contact you through that, eh? Great.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the only one so far. Blue Tuxedo at telus.net is where I can be reached. And yeah,
Bluetuxedo@telus.net. All right. Put your hands
thank,
up, everybody, for Kim Bothen.
thank
Thank
you.
you, Kim. Great song. Great choice for today. Thank you. So we are the Ubuntu Choirs Network, and we function in Victoria, BC here a couple of times a year, a couple of weeks for the year. And I just want to shout out from all of us in the network to Joe Rassi and all the people who have started this. We're into now our second year, and it is such an amazing thing. I love tuning in here in the morning. I've heard all kinds of really great songs. I've met a whole bunch of really amazing people, and Joe and the people in Revels and Carpe Diem Arts, just so grateful to what you're doing here. And there is a donate link which you can donate to, and there's a lot of us, so if we even gave $5 or $10, boy, that would go a long way toward just making sure this show carries on for the second year. It's a really worthwhile thing to keep us all singing, and we've got to keep singing. Singing is the birthright of humanity. as we like to say in our network, wolves aren't separated into howlers and non-howlers, and birds aren't separated into tweeters and non-tweeters. Neither should people be separated into singers and non-singers. We feel passionately that everybody is a singer. That's just what we are. And so that's what the message is. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. We got some goodbyes to say, though. And I think I'm going to let Cathy and Dick, in their inimitable fashion, take us out. And just thank you all for coming.
Do we have, whoops, feedback?
Hang on a second.
Here we go.
We only have 16% battery left on this machine, so we might conk out, in which case Denis can take over. It's been great to see you, Joe and Kim and Denis. Oh, Alinahh, thank you. Siobhan, Katie, you rock the tech. We love you. Deli and Jan, Dan and Deborah and Jenny and Annie, goodbye. And Al, with your guitar, keep playing. Oh, Sheila, it's been great to be with you here. Susan, Elizabeth, Joy, Michelle and Steve, Fran and Dale, Ida and your sibling and Whitby, hello, goodbye. Susanna Day and Sid Barley and Sarah and Tom Delaney. I'm switching screens. I hope I don't get lost. Oh, Kathleen in Albuquerque, where did you go? Katie and Bonnie and Susan and Anne and Jamie. Oh, Gary, goodbye. Storm, goodbye. Arlene and Bianca and Janet in Atlanta. Carolyn Wolf, Doug Varney. Oh, Luda and Brian and Jim and NYC and Nancy and your cow, goodbye. Goodbye, Mabel and Bob and Cinnamon Bears. Oh, Becky and Carolyn Quant and Fred and Tom, Janet and Pete, goodbye. Thank you for being here. Dion and Martha and Kevin and Thomasina and Kate, Miriam, Suzanne. I hope I haven't missed anyone. Oh, Gwen, goodbye. Cathy and Virginia, Phoebe, Aloysius, Kirsten. Oh, goodbye, Sandy and Annette and Anne. Karen in rainy Salt Lake City. Oh, Christy G, goodbye, Christiana. And a bunch of people off screen. Barbara, Christine, Cricket, CAPKXMM, and a bunch of other letters. Harriet and Ray and Jane, I think that's everyone. I hope I didn't miss you. Know that you're loved and we're glad to have been here with you. Goodbye from the Daily Antidote of Song.